Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is marketing. Marketing. I am a marketing maniac long before I'm a chef and a restaurateur. Now, some of us have fantastic locations and we're in places where we have a captive audience, such as ballparks, airports, busy Manhattan streets. You know, there's certain areas that you're paying what you're paying in rent. It's because you're paying that in rent and you don't have to pay it in marketing. There's a trade-off. So I'm in an area that's off the beaten path. When we first opened, we were the only restaurant in the whole town. And don't think I was crushing it because I was the only restaurant in town. The town had a lot of stigmas to come over. People did not want to come into the town I was at. The locals didn't even want to come into town. They thought the streets were scary. And there was a lot of things that were a major challenge in the beginning, but we were the very first restaurant to take a step and get into Ellenville, and now there's 4 or 5 restaurants within just a mile here. And there's a lot of business for everybody now, but in the beginning there was no business, not even for me. So I learned quickly in the beginning, 13 years ago, 2003, to become a marketing maniac and to take advantage of every single marketing aspect that I could. And that was just the bottom line. Of course, the internet was in its infancy back in 2003, but I quickly got a domain name and started working the internet right away. And I realized that SEO was important. I realized that posting a page a day with my keywords was extremely important. So let's critique Kat Cora. Kat Cora is the Iron Chef, the celebrity chef, the chef who has a lot of restaurants. In Asia, she has a restaurant, and not all across, but in several airports across the US, she has restaurants. So let's do a little bit of critiquing of her marketing. Now, the restaurants in the US that I can find are all in airports. So let's face it, she doesn't have to market. She has a captive audience. Okay, doesn't have to place ads. She doesn't have to go on through Facebook ads. She doesn't have to go and do SEO, because when people get to the airport, there's only so many choices that they have. And when they see a celebrity chef's restaurant in an airport, they're more apt to try that than a regular run-of-the-mill restaurant. At least I definitely am. I was first impressed when I went to Olive's, Todd English's restaurant, and I think it was one of the New York airports. I was like, oh wow, this is great. And I was like, wow, this is a cool meal. And a lot of these celebrity chefs have gotten on board in airports. So she doesn't have to do any kind of marketing, but she still needs to maintain her image and she still needs to be on point. Okay, so there's a different type of marketing that she needs to do. So let's do a quick review. So we go to catcora.com. And of course, I don't know her personally. I'm sure she's a nice person. This is just a critique. This is a friendly critique. She's more than welcome to watch this and say, "Hey, I learned something. Let me change what I'm doing, or let me actually listen to something that he's saying." So here's my first critique on her website, Kat Cora. So they talk about her restaurants. If you go to catcora.com/restaurants, you'll see it's Kat's newest restaurants, cocktails and tapas lounges called Kat Cora's Kitchens, are open in San Francisco, Houston, Salt Lake City, and I believe Georgia. It's not on the website, but I believe Georgia is on there. Second paragraph down, Kat Cora's Kitchen is also green and environmentally friendly. All to-go products from plates to boxes will be eco-friendly, and utensils and napkins are made of biodegradable materials. So, Kat, this is called greenwashing. Nowhere on your website can I see that you're certified green from any organization that's out there. And there's a lot of organizations that are out there. So when a restaurateur claims that they're green without being certified, bona fide, without following a certain specific criteria set forth by another organizations, their standards, it's called greenwashing, and it's very common in the industry. Greenwashing, to people who know what it is very frowned upon, because basically you're self-regulating what you're saying. It's like the salmon farming industry saying, well, we have organic salmon, when in fact there's nobody regulating them. It's their own regulations. So greenwashing is a major, major no-no. So for you to make a green claim that says we are green and environmentally friendly, that's greenwashing. So I would recommend saying, we're concerned about the environment, and we have taken a couple steps, or we have taken certain steps like biodegradable containers, non-using styrofoam, things like that. When you talk about being green, there's so many elements across the board. So of course she missed chemical usage. Is she using chemicals in the restaurant? I don't know. Is she not using chemicals? Is she composting? Is she recycling? Is she reusing? Does she have a plan in place for water usage? Every sink should have an aerator on it. Because you don't want to just sit there and pour hot water or any water down the drain. So there's a long list of things that can be done. You can break this into 10 different categories, literally. I mean, everything from the furnishings. If you're in a restaurant and you're using recycled furnishings, that should count towards being green because you're not buying brand new products. So it's a long list of things that it takes to be green, just not buying a to-go container and a biodegradable fork. Okay, great start, but that's not really what it is. So next, when you do a Google search for Cat Cora, San Francisco, Houston, and the first thing that you will find is when you go on these is that she has not claimed her business. She has not gone on and actually taken control of her Google business page. So when you Google those, it says claim this listing. Now, as an owner of a business, especially as a restaurateur, you want to take control of every page that's out there that'll allow you to upload photos, that'll allow you to upload whatever you possibly can as far as pictures, menus, your hours of business. All that is so super important because you want to control that. You don't want a guest going on and saying, oh, I think they're open till 11, or I think they open at 10, or I think they're family friendly, or I think they this, I think they that. Guests are going to do that anyway, but you want to go on there and say, hey, here's my menu, here's my hours of operation, here are my photos that I'm uploading. Because on Yelp and a lot of these review platforms, the guests can upload photos as well, which is great. But if you're not uploading photos, then that's a major mistake. You want to be uploading your own photos and controlling all of that and putting your menu and linking it back to your main website. Now, in her case, she just has catcora.com that I can find. So she wanted to link that back to either that or back to that whole branded airport restaurants that she has in the airports, back to one main page where they can give samples of menus and things like that. I looked up and down for menus, and I had to actually end up calling one of the locations, and they could not email me a menu. There was no menu posted online. There was none of that. And I think as a consumer trying, especially from a consumer that has allergies or that I want to know I'm conscious of what I'm eating, I'd want to know ahead of time the menu of things like that. But of course, when you're in an airport, you're kind of stuck, right? So maybe she's just going on that, well, hey, I'm in a captive audience and I don't need to do any of this stuff. I don't need to claim my business. I don't need to do my own hours. I don't need to put my own menu up there. So along with claiming your own business, people write reviews. So you need to actually respond to reviews. And as far as I went back, I couldn't find that Kat had actually responded to anybody's review. Now, she has a decent review for an airport. Okay, because airport food is really kind of tricky. It's a totally different style of cooking. The way you get food there, the way things have to pass security, the amount of staff. It's just everything is totally different. It's a much more scaled down kitchen. So you can't expect that, if somebody has a freestanding restaurant on Main Street and then a restaurant in an airport, that they're both going to be the same. It's just not the same thing to begin with. So typically, the restaurant airports always get lower ratings. But she has a decent rating. I think it's a 3.5 stars for Yelp, which isn't bad. But when people are willing to take the time to give you feedback, whether it's good or bad, you have to respond to them. You need to make comments. Say, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed your meal here. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed the truffle fries. Glad you liked our cheesecake. This, and this. And then when people complain, you also need to address those people and saying, you know what? I'm so sorry you had a bad experience. It's not like us. Or we understand. And you're right. We did mess up. We did make a mistake. And of course, that's not our intentions. How can we make it up to you? Thank you for your valuable feedback. Your feedback helps us grow. We take this to do staff trainings, and it helps us in every possible way improve our service, because that's what we're dedicated to, is improving customer service. But when you leave these people just hanging out there, it's not good marketing. It's not good business. So those are just my couple of critiques for Cat Cora. Of course, I don't know her personally. I've never been in her restaurants personally. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity chef or if you own the bar around the corner. All of these things are super important for maintaining your image and managing your brand. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.